I gave my son $800 in gifts and my daughter $4,000 in cash. He took it badly.
I am not the original poster. That would be you, jolly old Saint Nicky. The thread starts here. https www.reddit.com/r/amethyshole/comments/102g2y/iata for giving my daughter a better present than / posted January 3, 2023. Our son is 22 and our daughter is 26. She bought a house in July. We know that moving into a new home always comes with unexpected costs. Right after you've probably depleted most of your funds. So, for Christmas we gave her $4,000. Our son we gave a few different gifts totaling somewhere around $800. Our daughter had to work Christmas. But we did Christmas on the 26th and she stayed with us for the holidays from then until yesterday. Our son still lives with us. And today he told us both that he didn't want to say anything while his sister was here. But his feelings were hurt by the disparity in the value of the gifts. We explained that the gifts we got him were tailored to his interests. But his sister has just passed a big life milestone where money is more important to her right now than sentiment. He said it's still hurtful because it feels like we are more proud of her than him. My wife got really frustrated when he said that and asked why he would choose the least charitable interpretation of our actions. He said that's just how he felt and he couldn't control it. I said that we didn't give her money because we were more proud, but because we had experience being new homeowners and knowing that something always breaks in that first 6 months and it's always expensive. He said that was all fine and good, but it still hurt to get a worse present and feel like an afterthought. My wife asked if he expected us to get him $4,000 worth of gifts. He said no, but he expected the gifts between him and his sister to be equal. My wife said that's the same thing. And my son said it isn't. He said we could have given her the monetary equivalent of what we gave him. I told him that it isn't really fair for him to decide how much we spend on someone else's gift. Furthermore, cash is less personal than gifts. So giving her a cash equivalent to what he got would be her getting the worse gift. He said we weren't listening to him, just justifying. My wife said we didn't need to justify anything, and he was being entitled. At that point he said he didn't want to talk unless everyone was civil and he went to his room. He skipped lunch, breakfast for him, today. And when he left for work he didn't say goodbye even though I was right by the door. My wife is irritated, and my son is clearly resenting us. I can't really decide if we're in the wrong here. On the one hand, we should be able to give our money to whoever we want. On the other, I never want to hurt my son's feelings. Were we wrong? Verdict: mixed results. But YTA won out in the end. Relevant comment. Info. Did you ask him if it was about the money or about his feelings? Because it seems that he just wanted to share his feelings and you wanted to justify what you're doing. Sometimes it can be enough to say, I get that you're hurt. That isn't our intention. Jolly old Saint Nicky OP. Sorry. What's your question exactly? I transcribed the highlights of our conversation in the post. I didn't ask that exact question. No. /https www.reddit.com/r/trueoffmechest/comments/103ux2/ gave my son $800 in gifts and my daughter $4,000. Update posted January 5, 2023. A couple of days ago I posted elsewhere about a conversation my wife and I had with our son. People reacted very strongly, and I wanted to let everyone know what happened next. But that isn't permitted where I originally posted. I still wanted to get it off my chest. So this seemed an appropriate place. We sat down with our son again to talk. Things started out similar to yesterday. But then he asked if we wished he didn't live at home anymore. My wife and I assured him that nothing could be less true. He said it feels like we are waiting for him to move out. He said his sister moved out at 21, and he's 22 now. So he feels like we are waiting for him to leave. I said we had no control over when his sister left and asked what we did specifically to make him feel that way. He said it just did. At this point my wife became frustrated and asked if he considered our feelings. Our son asked what she meant, and she pointed out that he never said thank you for his presents. He said he liked them. And my wife said that wasn't the same as thanks and pointed out that she and I said thank you for ours. But he didn't say thank you for his. At this point they were both frustrated. So I asked if we could all take a minute. My son thanked us for his presents, which was nice. My wife said that our son was asking if we valued his presence in our lives. But she wanted to know if he valued ours in his, or if he was just using us for free housing. Our son started crying, which felt awful to see. He said that he did value us, but that he felt like he could never catch up to us. I told him, don't try to catch up to us. We had a 2-decade head start, and you'll exhaust yourself if you try to do that. Just go at your own pace. Our son asked how we would feel if he's never successful like his sister is. I asked him, why do you think that your sister is successful and you aren't? She bought a house. But that's not everything in life. She did that for herself. Because she wanted it, not to reach an arbitrary metric of success. All that matters is if you are happy in life. Our son was quiet for a bit and then admitted that he wasn't happy. My wife asked what would make him happy, and he said he didn't know. I asked if there was anything specific making him unhappy. He said his job. He said he hates working swing shift and feels tired all the time. I said, okay, quit your job, or go to part-time and work 2 6-hour shifts a week if you are worried about a gap in your resume. He asked if we would be disappointed if he quit, and my wife said we will never be disappointed in him for trying to find his happiness. I said, younger siblings look up to older ones and try to copy them sometimes. That was my brother and I when I was younger too. But you aren't your sister. This isn't a race. And you aren't on a time limit. You don't have to find your dream job or move out by a specific date. Just find what will make you happy. He said he would talk to his supervisor today about switching to part-time or taking a leave of absence. I hope it goes well, because I don't want him to continue to feel dragged down by work. I don't think the situation is resolved, because there are hurt feelings on both sides. But I do think we made progress. Oof. I feel for the son. No matter what, I'm stuck here with my parents while I'm watching others live their lives the way they should, is what I heard in his last speech. It might not have been the money. It's the fear of being stuck. My interpretation. Of course. I understand his hurt feelings. His sister's life is snowballing in a positive way and he feels like he is snowballing the opposite. She is finding success in life and reaping greater rewards even for Christmas. He is not finding success and receiving less reward on the side as well now. At the same time, does everyone else here get $800 worth of Christmas gifts? Man, I'd be hard-pressed to be upset at that part of the equation. That's a huge gift. OOP's son is showing signs of depression. Quotes. He said that's just how he felt and he couldn't control it. Our son started crying, which felt awful to see. He said that he did value us, but that he felt like he could never catch up to us. Our son was quiet for a bit and then admitted that he wasn't happy. My wife asked what would make him happy, and he said he didn't know. He asked if we would be disappointed if he quit. A 22-year-old has recently entered the working phase of his life and knows that things are bleak. His generation can't afford homes. He's stuck in his parents' house and feels like an underachiever, a failure, and has no idea how to process his emotions and feelings of worthlessness. This is about money, but not this specific $4,000. I think it just caused all this to boil over. OOP's son should get therapy. I have no comment either way on this post, but the amount of comments in here using gaslight completely incorrectly is too damn high. Info. Did you ask him if it was about the money or about his feelings? Because it seems that he just wanted to share his feelings and you wanted to justify what you're doing. Sometimes it can be enough to say, I get that you're hurt. That isn't our intention. Jolly old Saint Nicky OP, sorry. What's your question exactly? I transcribed the highlights of our conversation in the post. I didn't ask that exact question. No. This is a very frustrating exchange and kind of is indicative of all of their problems alongside other interactions with their son. It's overly analytical and doesn't take any of their son's emotions into account. There's a frustrating amount of, if you just talked to him, none of these arguments would have happened, but it sounds like this is how their household always is. Just terrible at communicating with their son all around. I think the initial problem is that the parents made the house money a Christmas gift. It would have been more reasonable to gift the house money as a housewarming gift and then give both kids Christmas gifts. They could have even given the daughter fewer, cheaper gifts and said it's because they already gave her such a big housewarming gift. I think the biggest problem is the wife not being receptive to anything the son has to say. His feelings, his emotions, nothing. I'm glad that dad actually had the heart enough to talk to him like a grown man instead of a petulant child. Outside of the bigger picture, it would have made more sense to give the cash gift at a different time so there wasn't such an obvious disparity in the gift giving, which is bound to make one sibling feel like they are the lesser valued child. It's fine to say a few weeks after Christmas, privately, hey, your mom and I wanted to give you this cash to help you start out in your new house. Gifts don't have to have holidays.
These parents aren't bad people, they're just horrible communicators.
So my brother bought a house many years ago and got cash from my parents. They talked to me and said they were doing this and that I was not getting the same until I bought a house. No big deal. Instead of making it a Christmas gift, be open that it's a milestone gift and make it separate, and be open that the other kid will get the comparable amount when the time comes. So much can be prevented with communication. As long as there's a reasonable expectation that the son would also receive that sort of money if he bought a house. I honestly don't think the parents were in the wrong at all in this situation, and I'm surprised they were voted ta. I think there's probably a deeper resentment there that's causing the problem. Because this shouldn't be an issue with healthy sibling relationships. Often parents can try their best to keep things fair and still cause jealousy problems between siblings. And those feelings will fester and never truly go away. Maybe it's cultural differences, but the comments here are baffling to me. Why are people making it such a big deal that the parents gave their daughter money after she bought a house? Why is it a problem they did it during Christmas? A lot happens in the years from 22 to 26. He is gonna be okay. But should seriously stop compare himself to where he was yesterday rather than where someone else is today. Weird comments on this post. There's no gaslighting or abuse or whatever some of you are forcing this to be. It's just parents and their kid who both focused on their own feelings and were more concerned with letting their feelings be known rather than listening to the other party. In other words, bad communication. The mom inadvertently disregarded her son's feelings because she wasn't getting what he was trying to tell her, and the son wasn't able to communicate the root of his feelings. Inadequacy and unhappiness. In that initial conversation when he made it about the money. This doesn't make them bad people. There doesn't always have to be a bad guy lol. They just need to learn how to speak to each other. Otherwise they're going to keep hurting each other. Wow, this comment section definitely highlights certain biases of Redditors. Yikes. Equity is not equality. My parents bought my sister, 8 years older than me, a brand new moped when she was 14 and help her for a new car when she was 19 because she needed it. I didn't need this stuff and have a bicycle at 16 and a used car at 22. But now 10 years later I have a daughter and my parents help me a lot. The every siblings need the same thing at the same times is a toxic idea. Sadly, I frequently read similar ideas on Reddit. Sometimes is like most of the comments here are from teenagers. Surprised PPL voted the parents the a-holes. They would probably not have given the daughter $4,000 if she hadn't gotten a new house. And they would probably give the son $4,000 if he got a house. The son is clearly projecting his insecurities onto the parents who are clearly supporting him and supportive of him as well and seem like great parents. To me the son is still young, so it's good to explain this stuff to him, which they did, but he's not that young anymore either and needs to go to therapy if he is having issues with self-worth. Man, I feel for the son. And I think a lot of people have felt that sorta drift feeling in our early 20s. But I also think it's very entitled to complain about $800 worth of gifts and not even say thank you. Come on lol. Rich kid problems for sure. I can't really empathize with a fully grown adult expecting to receive equal Christmas presents with his sister. Like the parents sound rich. They'll probably give the son a large sum of cash when he gets his own place. I find this particular problem the son has to be difficult to empathize with lol. Wow, I'm genuinely surprised by all of the comments here. I feel like I'm missing something. When I was reading the story, I was pleasantly surprised by the family dynamics. The son had the maturity to wait until his sister left, and to set a clear boundary when he felt the first conversation wasn't productive. When asked for additional context, instead of doubling down, he was able to be introspective and recognize his feelings were more broad than this one incident. The mother did a good job of trying to provide additional context and tried to get the son to think outside of this one issue and consider other people's needs and feelings. The father did a good job of navigating the conversations when both other parties got frustrated, and did a good job of recognizing that this wasn't just about the gift and asking follow-up questions. At the end, the son felt empowered to start the first steps into changing his situation and feeling less stuck. Obviously, nothing was absolutely perfect, but as these conversations and dynamics go, I thought this was a good example of a family really trying to understand each other. I did not get the same insidious read on this situation as so many other people did. Just imperfect people trying and seeing some results. Son needs therapy. He's projecting a lot of things onto his parents. Also, parents helping out with the sister doesn't mean the son isn't loved. Sometimes situations dictate different things. If the sister needed a kidney transplant from the parents to live, should the parent give one to the son too? The original post reviews seem to automatically assume that the parents have previously favored the daughter and they won't contribute financially to the son in the future when he's in a similar position.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.